I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya. Early voting is underway in Flagler County. John Arking reports.
Flagler's Supervisor of Elections, Katie Lenhard, says things kicked off without a hitch starting at 10 a.m. on Monday, with plenty of opportunities to cast ballots over the next 11 days.
We lucked out, did not get a tropical storm or a hurricane, started early voting right on time at 10 a.m. It will go through the 15th of August from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. And it's going to be at the Flagler County Public Library, the Palm Coast Community Center, and here at the Elections Office in Bunnell. This is a very unique primary election. We have two universal primary contests, which means that partisan offices can be decided by everybody in the county. So if you want to vote for a public defender and Board of County Commissioners, those are going to be decided in August, along with several of our school board races and circuit judge races on the ballot. So those races will be decided. So if you want to have a voice in who is going to be in office here soon, then get out and vote.
Palm Coast residents are also voting for mayor. If a candidate for Palm Coast mayor gets over 50% of the vote, they'll automatically win. If no one gets over 50% of the vote, the top two vote getters will move on and then face each other in November. You can find complete details on early voting at flaglerelections.com/early-voting. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
A Palm Coast man is accused of assaulting his Lyft driver on a ride home to Flagler Beach. It happened early Sunday morning. That's when the suspect tells police his Lyft driver began driving recklessly. Deputies say passenger Travis Smith, who was drunk, pulled down a plastic partition that separated him from the driver. It was in place due to COVID-19. He then put the driver in a chokehold, causing him to lose control, deputies say. Smith says he did this in an effort to protect his life and the life of another passenger and a 7-year-old child. The vehicle came to a stop and the two continued to battle in the street. Deputies say dashcam footage matches the Lyft driver's story of what happened. The Lyft driver suffered minor injuries. Smith faces charges of battery and child abuse. He's free on $7,500 bond.
One person's rent's another person's revenue and another person's business.
And U.S. Congressman Mike Waltz, who represents the 6th District, which includes Flagler County, says that's the balance they're trying to strike as federal protections for evictions during COVID-19 expire. At the state level, these protections are still in place via an extension by Governor Ron DeSantis. County Commissioner Joe Mullins, who owns several commercial properties and residential apartment complexes, says tenants of all kinds are coming to him
and saying, look, we just can't pay rent. We weren't open. We weren't able to. Our government loans seem to be protected. We've got a variety of loans. They seem to be protected, and we've been able to get relief from them.
But private loans are posing a problem. Waltz says he'll look into it.
That's one of the things we tried to shore up with the PPP program. Remember, we put out hundreds of billions of dollars that also can be used for rent, and I expect that program to be extended and businesses to get another bite at that apple to try to get it at kind of the retail end, the business end. But there are a number of relief programs. I'll look at this private one as well. But then you have people who own commercial properties. They're struggling in their businesses. We've tried to create programs where they can work with their banks. And then the ultimate backstop is the Fed, who's providing liquidity to some of these larger owners. But at the end of the day, the money has to come from somewhere, and that's where we're either borrowing at the federal level or shifting other tax dollars from other programs. But we can't print our way out of this problem, ultimately. It's going to roll up into where someone has to pay the bill.
The Republican maintains he wouldn't support extending federal pandemic unemployment insurance at $600 per month through next spring.
We know about the test for COVID, where you put a swab in your nose to see if you test positive or negative. But what is the COVID antibody test?
Flagler Medical Director Dr. Stephen Bickle says people are hearing that the antibody test will tell them if they've already had the coronavirus. Those who take the blood when somebody donates have to explain to them the test. And Dr. Bickle says they're having a hard time of it.
And that's because the antibody test is tricky. I mean, it's been from the beginning. It was kind of overhyped as being potentially very useful at the beginning, never really lived up to it.
Bickle said that the antibody test results give a prediction based on a person's overall health. To listen to the interview, download the Flagler radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, who should get an antibody test? From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
Drug arrest seizure funds are used to purchase a new crime-fighting and educational tool. Tony Magoo has the details.
Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. Sheriff, tell us what the county purchased with the seized drug funds.
A driving simulator that simulates being impaired, under the influence of narcotics, or texting and driving.
Can you tell us what your deputies are hauling this in?
We had confiscated a trailer, and our team created very significant and creative graphics to message the dangers of impaired driving and texting and driving.
The simulator, a custom-built electric go-kart, allows drivers and passengers to experience what can happen when they operate a vehicle under the influence of alcohol or marijuana, as well as the ramifications of driving while drowsy or distracted. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office Impaired Driving Simulator trailer is currently on display in front of the Kim C. Hammond Justice Center in Bunnell.
So we hope the message gets across to our drivers that don't text and drive and don't drive impaired.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.